Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video this evening, there is lots to currently negotiate about. I am going to be giving you the latest news regarding Paul Pogba, also going to be giving you the latest news regarding Jack Grealish, also going to be giving you the latest news regarding Erling Halland, and there is lots of other things to currently talk about. But the first topic of the development I am going to start with is Paul Pogba, because more news is updated. Also going to, give you a bit more of an update of what his agent Mini Raiola has come out and said, because of course Paul Pogba's agent is talking. So I've been reading reports today. It does actually, say now that Real Madrid only value Paul Pogba at £50 million. So reportedly Paul Pogba could leave this summer for just £50 million. So that is around £39 million less than what we paid for him from Juventus back in 2016. And it's around 3 times less, than what Manchester United are currently demanding, because we want around £150 million for Paul Pogba this summer and that. Obviously, Paul Pogba, I think, from my own perception, he's worth at least £120 million. Obviously, the only main explanation why Paul Pogba's appearances have been limited this season is because, due to, the injuries he's had. He's only played 8 games this season. The last game Paul Pogba did play was on Boxing Day, and the last time he started for Manchester United was in September of last year. So due to injuries, his appearances have been limited. Don't forget, Solskjaer did recently come out and say that Paul Pogba may never ever play for Manchester United again. But I do presume, he will play again, before he does leave the football club in the summer. But he has been, stepping up his fitness regime. I think it's now over a month ago since he had the surgery on his ankle. But I think now Paul Pogba is close to returning. I think, the earliest we are looking at Paul Pogba being back is for the Manchester City game on the 8th of March. But yeah, I think he will play for the football club again. But it's very imperative in the summer that Manchester United get more money than what they paid for him from Juventus back in 2016 and that. So obviously, his agent Mini Raiola now, obviously, United have not been, happy, with the comments he's been recently coming out and saying regarding, Solskjaer and Manchester United. However, Raiola, did insist that he doesn't have anything against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He did say, he was set to open, talks with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that, because, they have, had a dispute, over Paul Pogba's future. Mini Raiola has been coming out saying that Paul Pogba's likely to leave Manchester United in the summer. If Manchester United failed to qualify for the Champions League. He was also saying yesterday that Paul Pogba is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's project, and he was saying something to do with a prisoner in that. But these are some of the stuff Mini Raiola had come out and said, and he did say Paul Pogba did not join the football club, to not win titles in that. So this is what Mini Raiola has come out and said. The Sun did report yesterday. Don't really delve into the Sun that much, but I saw the headline and it said Paul Pogba would be open for, contract negotiations with Man United. This is what, Mini Raiola had said. And he did say Italy is like, a second home to Paul Pogba. But I think his preference is a move to Juventus in the summer. Obviously, there was reports coming out the other day saying that Juventus were planning a £125 million package deal for Paul Pogba, and they was willing to offer Adrien Rabiot and Aaron Ramsey as part of the deal, but I don't believe that's currently true in that. But, Paul Pogba now is into his 4th season as a Manchester United player since, he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016, and the vast majority of his performances at Man United have been totally comparison to his ones in Turin, because he did, like I mentioned, enjoy 4 good years in Turin and that. I think the mistake Manchester United did make was letting Paul Pogba go when he was younger. We let him go, of course, under Alex Ferguson. We let him go on a 3 transfer. Obviously, last summer Pogba was relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid, but the main explanation why his move to Real Madrid didn't materialise is reflecting on the substantial amount we put on him, because I think last summer we wanted around, £160 million for the player. Real Madrid were not willing to meet that. Paul Pogba, of course, is now heading into the final year of his contract at Man United, but the club do have an option to extend his contract by a further year and that. But I think, if we can get Maddison and Grealish in the summer, then obviously, we can afford to let Paul Pogba go, because we're going to generate a substantial amount for his departure. And also, it will free up our wage bill a little bit, because Pogba, is one of the highest paid players at the football club and that. So, So reportedly now, Real Madrid only value Paul Pogba at £50 million. I don't know why, they just currently do. So in the summer, he'll either go to Real Madrid or Juventus. Don't forget, Barcelona have been in for Paul Pogba in the past. So yeah, we know that he's not going to be playing tomorrow either against Club Brugge, Paul Pogba. So that's the latest news regarding him. Now, of course, Manchester United are interested in Jack Grealish. Now, I've been reading reports today, and it does say that, if Aston Villa are to avoid relegation this season in the Premier League, then Manchester United may have to pay around £80 million for Jack Grealish. Now, that is a substantial amount. Obviously, we're seeing him as the adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. But I would be excited about the prospect of, Grealish and Maddison, coming in to play alongside Bruno Fernandes in our midfield. Jack Grealish, up until this point, has spent the entirety of his career with Aston Villa. He's gone to make over 100 appearances for them. And he's become an integral part of Aston Villa's team. He's got a £45 million release clause in his contract with them. He's still got a contract with Aston Villa until 2023, and he is only at the age of 24. And obviously, Solskjaer does still want to continue the policy of recruiting young British players to Manchester United. He's predominantly an attacking midfielder, but occasionally, he does play on the wing, does Jack Grealish. So I think Man United have identified him as their number one priority target for the summer and that. So he's one player on our current agenda. I think probably, Grealish and Maddison, the pair of them would probably cost us a good 150 or 160 million pounds, for both players and that. So that's the latest news regarding Jack Grealish. And obviously, Tottenham have been long admirers of him, don't forget. Tottenham should have realistically got him. Real Madrid and Barcelona have also expressed their interest in the player. The latest news now regarding Erling Halland. Obviously, he did reportedly, tell Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that I wanted to join Manchester United. Them reports have come out today. Because don't forget, before he went to Borussia Dortmund, it was in December of last year, Erling Haaland had met up with our representatives, so he was keen on coming to Manchester United, and he did want to reunite with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Erling Haaland has already played under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance during his short period he had with Mould. He was also very, very good for Red Bull Salzburg. But of course, with us obviously, not offering any Champions League football, that convinced Erling Haaland to change his mind and go to Borussia Dortmund. And he was available for a reasonable figure. Borussia Dortmund only paid around, £18 million for Erling Haaland. I think he signed a contract with them until 2024. But he was our number one priority target. And I think, he would have been a good adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku. So it's a shame that, we didn't get Erling Haaland in. So yeah, he did at the first want to come to Manchester United. Again, very, very young, he's the current player. Now, the latest news regarding Jadon Sancho. I have been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Jadon Sancho on a regular basis. Man United are still confident that they can beat Liverpool and Chelsea to the signing of Jadon Sancho this summer. Now, obviously, reports came out the other week, like I mentioned, and it said, Jadon Sancho had agreed to join Manchester United this summer, and that was coming from social media. Borussia Dortmund have quoted out that they want around £120 million for Jadon Sancho. So obviously, we'd have to make him our most expensive signing. And reportedly, Man United were willing to offer him around £200,000 a week, Jadon Sancho. But there's quite a lot of clubs that have expressed their interest in the player. Obviously, this season for Borussia Dortmund, Jadon Sancho has been dropped in a lot of games, so he has enjoyed a difficult season. But in his two previous seasons, he has done really, really well as Jadon Sancho. I think he would be the right calibre player for Manchester United if he was to come in. I don't see how he would fit Liverpool's system. Chelsea, of course, are still in there for him. I think Real Madrid have also been in there for him. But it come out the other week saying that, his preference was a move to Manchester United. Jadon Sancho playing alongside the likes of, James, Martial, Bruno Fernandes and Maddison and Grealish, if they were to come in, I would be very, very excited about that, to be quite honest with you. Jadon Sancho now is in his third season with Dortmund. Dortmund selling this summer, they're going to make a huge profit on the player because they got him from next to nothing from Man City. They only paid around 7 or 8 million for him from Man City. And of course, the main explanation why I left Man City, because City couldn't assure him first team opportunities. So he has played in the Premier League, and I think if he was to come back to the Premier League, it would be beneficial for his career. He's still got around 2 years left on his current contract though with Borussia Dortmund as Sancho. And again, he is only 19. I think he's now nearly 20. He's predominantly a right winger. He can also play centrally, but Manchester United, of course, do need a right winger in that. So we have got a lot of players on our agenda who we could obviously go in for in the summer. I was reading reports the other day and it did say Solskjaer's going to get around £274 million to spend this summer. He's already spent over £200 million, Solskjaer, since he got recommended in. And Solskjaer, of course, now has been at Manchester United for 14 months, so he's been here over the year. And he has recruited 5 players in 3 transfer windows. Obviously last summer he brought Daniel James in for 15 million. Of course, he's been urged to drop Daniel James because he's been playing Daniel James too much. We bought Wan-Bissaka in for 50 million. We bought Harry Maguire in for £80 million. He's obviously the most expensive defender in the world and the second most expensive signing at the club, just behind Pogba. And Harry Maguire, of course, against Chelsea, scored his first Premier League goal. He scored 2 goals in all competitions for Man United. His first goal came against Tranmere. But I think the club did make the right decision by giving Maguire the captaincy on a permanent basis. We're giving the captaincy reflection on Ashley Young's departure and that. But I think Maguire's done really, really well for us. And in January, of course, we bought Bruno Fernandes in for £68 million. He's our 4th most expensive signing. And I think he's done good in his first 2 games for Man United. As long as we can keep in his predominant position, we'll see the best of Bruno Fernandes. Like I said, if we put him as a holding midfielder, that's when he could become a liability. And we got Odion Ighalo in on loan until the end of the season. Now, obviously, if he is to hit the ground running, Odion Ighalo, then possibly, we could get him on a permanent transfer like Solskjaer revealed. And I think he is definitely a good cover up to Marcus Rashford, is Odion Ighalo, because Marcus Rashford's going to be out for a couple of months at least with a back injury, and Rashford has been one of our best players this season. But, we are making plans for the summer transfer window. I can't estimate how much, Manchester United have actually got. I do presume, we've got a lot of money. We're one of the biggest clubs in the world. We're one of the richest clubs in the world. We've got a fantastic history behind us. We've got a fantastic fan base. But we are going to spend a lot of money in the summer on bringing new additions to the squad. So Sancho, 120. Maddison, Grealish, around £160 million. So that's £280 million there on 3 players, of course, if Manchester United can recommend them in. But in the summer, we are looking to address the deficiencies in the squad, because there's still deficiencies in the squad that need to be addressed. Manchester United need at least 1 striker. We need a right winger. We also need a left back. I think we probably need a centre half, and then Lindelof can be used there as a backup. Some people are saying we need a left winger and that. So there's still areas in the squad that do need to be addressed in that. Obviously, Solskjaer was coming out saying that, if Manchester United, don't get any European football, he still believes that, we can attract players to the elite level. But obviously, if we get European football, then obviously, we've got better chance of attracting players to the elite level. And look at it on the other hand, we'll also generate money for going into the Champions League if we do. And also, the resources at the football club in general will be better. So we've got to get the right players into Manchester United in the summer, definitely. We've got to, currently do this. And, the question is, though, will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer be Manchester United manager in the summer transfer window? Because obviously, we've already, said that Solskjaer will be sacked on one condition, and that's if Manchester United, finish outside the top 6 and we fail to get any European football and that. But I still believe Manchester United can finish in that top 4 this season. Realistically, we don't need to. We can finish 5th now because, 5th is a Champions League spot, reflecting on Manchester City's ban from the Champions League for the next 2 seasons. But it would still be good for Manchester United to finish in that top 4, definitely in that. But maybe, the club may be willing to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer another season at the club, because this is only his first full season at Manchester United at the moment. So obviously, Robin van Persie's come out, who is obviously a former Manchester United player. He's give his own verdict on all of this, and he believes Man United should stick with Solskjaer, and we should give him time we should give him time, at the football club, because he believes from his own perception, that Man United have made too many changes in the last 6 or 7 years. This is what he believes. So he still believes we should give Solskjaer time, to stabilise the club, basically, in that. So some people are saying Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out, and some people are saying Manchester United should stick with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because looking at it, it's not always the right solution, to persistently sack managers, because Manchester United are not really known for the sacking football club. We've already sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. We sacked Moyes, we sacked Louis van Gaal, and we sacked Jose Mourinho. And Solskjaer's our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. Solskjaer, anyway, was lucky to get the job as the interim manager. Very, very lucky, but reflecting on what he did when he was the interim manager in that 3-month period, would give Solskjaer the job on a permanent basis. So this is what, Manchester United had done. But, maybe, we're willing to give him at least one more transfer window to see who else he can recommend into the football club. Like I mentioned before, there's not only problems with the management, there's also problems, with the executive chairman, Ed Woodward. Obviously, a lot of United fans have been protesting him. Obviously, there's problems with the club's ownership. The Glazers have been generating money out of this club for several years, and they've been here since 2005. And in general, I don't like the way the football club has been run in the last 6 or 7 years. Also, our board have been a liability for several years, reflects on their poor recruitment and their poor selection of managers and that. So I think, we need to see a variety of changes at the football club, definitely in that. I think Man United made a mistake by not getting a director of football in last summer, because if we'd already got that director of football in, then, Ed Woodward could have moved away from the footballing decisions, but we should have recommended a director of footballing. And there was quite a few former Man United players linked with that director's role last summer and that. Also, more players are expected to leave Man United this summer, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has already revealed. So, obviously, for some of the players that leave this summer, we will generate some money for their departures. Some of them will leave. Obviously, a lot of players anywhere have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. Around 9 senior players have left. So, reflecting on some of the players that left last summer, we generated some money for their departures, and all of that. But I've already said to you now, I think the players that need to go this summer: Phil Jones, Matic, Lingard, Pereira, Chong, Luke Shaw, Martial, if he is to continue with his bad run of performances. So all them players I've just mentioned to you, I think are liabilities at Manchester United, definitely. But on the other hand, there's still a lot of players at the club I would be, determined to keep, definitely in that. But I think the mistake Manchester United made, we've made a lot of mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years. It's not the only explanation, but it's been one of the main explanations why we've been so inconsistent. We shouldn't have given the job to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on a permanent basis. We shouldn't have got rid of Romelu Lukaku last summer. That was a mistake from the club. Looking at it from a financial point of view, I was happy what we generated from his departure, but we made a mistake getting rid of him, because now he's firing in all cylinders at Inter Milan. He enjoyed one good season at Man United, never really got the opportunities in his second season, Lukaku. And, it took us like a long time, to get the replacement for Lukaku and that. I think we made a mistake getting rid of Ander Herrera, because Ander Herrera was one of our best players, since the Alex Ferguson era. And it infuriated me more that, we let Ander Herrera go on a free transfer and we let his contract run down. I think, we should have appointed Jose Mourinho in after Ferguson's retirement. I think we recommended Jose Mourinho in too late. I think, Ferguson made the only mistake by ever recommending David Moyes in. Of course, we knew that it wasn't going to work out for David Moyes at Man United. He enjoyed around 8 or 9 months with the club. But the main explanation why he recommended David Moyes in Ferguson is because, of course, they were both Scottish, and Ferguson, of course, had a lot of time for David Moyes and that. So, as you do know about that and that. So, And also I was also very, very happy, what Fred recently, come out and said. Don't forget, during the winter break, Fred had come out and given an interview to, an interview in Brazil. He was giving his own perception on what he thinks at Manchester United, and Fred's also come out and said Paul Pogba still has a role at Man United, but he was saying about, the lack of unity in the squad. He was coming out, saying, he was pinpointing out the various problems and that. Solskjaer had reacted, to what Fred had come out and said, and, Solskjaer's perception was totally comparison to, what basically, Fred had said. So I did credit, Fred for what he did currently do, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, so like I said, Man United had a really, really good result against Chelsea. We had a really, really good result against Chelsea on Monday night, beating them by 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. Our first win at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League since 2012. And, the first time we'd done the double over Chelsea in the Premier League era. And, Solskjaer has now schooled Frank Lampard 3 times as a manager. I think, since Solskjaer's come in, we are unbeaten against Chelsea. But Solskjaer has beaten Chelsea, 4 times in total. 3 times this season and once in the FA Cup last season. So, yeah, we've got a really, really good record against Chelsea since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come in. But yeah, it wasn't the best of performances for Man United, but, we still got the win. Obviously, it was goals from Anthony Martial, just before half-time. Very, very good goal from Anthony Martial. He's got a good goal-scoring record against Chelsea of late. Scored against them in the 4-0 win this season on the opening day. Scored twice in the fixture last season and scored on Monday night. But, Martial shouldn't have been playing in the number 9, but he was. I think Solskjaer got a couple of things wrong in the game, like I mentioned, but I think most of it he did get right, so I will credit him for that. But Bissaka had got the assist. The second one was from Harry Maguire, first Premier League goal for Man United. Bruno Fernandes had got the assist for that. And Bruno Fernandes could have got his name on the score sheet because he also hit the post. But it wasn't the best of games, like I mentioned. Chelsea, of course, had their moments. He had around 7 shots in the first half, but he didn't register one single shot on target, Chelsea, surprisingly. That's why he had around 3 chances. Maguire, of course, was still lucky to be on the pitch, with him built in, that's why. But obviously, he did remain on the pitch, did Maguire. Chelsea, of course, had 2 disallowed goals in the game from, Giroud and Curtis Zouma. And yeah, but it was a very, very good win for Man United, and that was our first win, in 4 Premier League games. Because prior to that game, we were winless in our last 3 Premier League games. But looking at it on the other hand, we haven't, we have kept a clean sheet in our last 4 Premier League games now. But reflecting on that win against Chelsea, it's put us up to 7th in the league, and we are now only 3 points behind top 4. Look at it on the other hand, if Chelsea had won, we'd have been 9 points behind top 4. Then I would have, fully disregarded the top 4. Chelsea also had to take Kante off with injury, and so too Christensen also had to come off with injury in that. But yeah, I was very, very delighted with the result, like I mentioned. Very, very delighted, and it was a very, very good win for Manchester United. Very, very good win it was. And of course, Man United went with 3 at the back, which was very, very good. And like I said, that 3-5-2 formation suits our standards. But Solskjaer this season has been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation on a regular basis. But that formation doesn't seem to suit our standards. So I think Solskjaer needs to continue going with 3 at the back. Because from my own perception, we're looking much more expansive with 3 at the back. Solskjaer did make some changes from the 0-0 draw against Wolves before the winter break. Bay is now back into the team, which is good. That was his first Premier League appearance against Chelsea since April of last year. He did well at the back. There was no Lindelof because he was out with illness, but now Lindelof's back. Maguire did really, really well. Shaw did well, but Shaw shouldn't have been playing at centre-back, so that's something else Solskjaer got wrong. Fred, Matic and Fernandes also did well in that midfield. So overall, very, very delighted. Odi Nagalo did come on late to make his debut. Could have scored right at the end, but for me, Odi Nagalo should have been starting that game. But I won't get too overconfident. It was a very, very good win, and hopefully now we can build some momentum. We can start winning games. We've got to go on a good winning run now if we do want to keep our hopes up for that top 4, definitely in that. Solskjaer's doing his press conference very, very soon, building up to the game against Club Brugge tomorrow. Tomorrow in the Europa League knockout stages, first leg at, the Jan Bradell Stadium. Manchester United do take them on tomorrow in the Europa League. You did see my preview for that game yesterday. Now, I've read some of the team news. I just want to confirm that Victor Lindelof is now back from illness, so more than likely he will be involved. Also, I've got some good news regarding McTominay. He was part of the pre-season. He was part of the pre-match training squad. Was McTominay ahead of the trip to Club Brugge. So too was Tuan Zebe. So too was Lindelof as well. He's another one. And Connor Stanley, who's a teenager, he's also been training with the first team this morning, which is very, very good. Mason Greenwood reportedly is absent from training. That's been confirmed. Chong, Angel Gomez and Garner were not training with the first team because reportedly they already are in Belgium. But in this game against Club Brugge tomorrow, Solskjaer, will make quite a lot of changes from the 2-0 win against Chelsea, definitely. And, the Europa League is an opportunity for us, to give the youngsters their opportunities, definitely in that. I think we should, comfortably beat Club Brugge over the 2 legs. The last time we played Club Brugge, like I mentioned, was back in the Champions League playoffs in 2015-16. We'd beaten them 3-1 in the first leg and 4-0 in the second leg. So we'd beaten them 7-1 on aggregate, Club Brugge, 7-1 on aggregate. I think in one of the games as well, Wayne Rooney had scored a hat-trick. Yeah, Wayne Rooney had scored a hat-trick. And Club Brugge's record against Premier League teams is very, very poor. They are winless in their last 10 games against Premier League opposition, our Club Brugge. They're currently sitting top of the Belgium League, our Club Brugge. They're sitting top of the Belgium League, looking like they're going to win it this season. Of course, they finished runners-up last season, did Club Brugge, but I think Manchester United should win this comfortably, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, Solskjaer will make a lot of changes. Obviously, I expect to see Dalot play some parts of the game, because obviously, Dalot's appearances have been limited this season due to injuries. Dalot's only, scored 1 goal for Man United, and that was against Tranmere. I expect to see Brandon Williams to keep his place in the team, because he is now our first choice left back anyways, Brandon Williams. I expect, probably to see Gomez maybe get given a chance. Vast majority of Gomez's appearances this season have come in the Europa League. Maybe Chong could get given a chance. Garner as well could also get given a chance. So we have got a lot of youngsters in the squad that are developing and trying to improve. I think Romero will be in goal because he tends to play in the Europa League games. So he will make a lot of changes, will Solskjaer. But I do probably believe he will stick with 3 at the back. We know there's going to be no Pogba. There's going to be no Marcus Rashford. Possibly McTominay could be involved. Fosu-Mensah, haven't really read up about him. He's been out injured for quite a while as Fosu-Mensah. But it'll be interesting to see how he approaches the game. The Europa League is a priority for Man United, because obviously it's a chance of getting silverware on the board. Plus it's a chance of us, getting automatic qualification for the Champions League. Don't forget, we can also win the FA Cup and that. So we have still got quite a few ambitions this season. We have still got quite a few ambitions this season and that. So I'm going to go watch Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference now, to see what, he has to say, building up to the game. Our next league game is Watford at the weekend. That's going to be, not easy. We've got Club Brugge in the second leg. Then, Everton is it at the beginning of the month. Then it is the Manchester derby. So, yeah. So that's mainly everything to update you with. And like I said, Lindelof's back from illness. Matic has just recently come back from suspension. I give you my starting 11 prediction already on, one of my videos yesterday anyway. So, yeah. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.